Hezbollah penetrated the Pakistan-based Dawat-E-Islami, attended their online classes for more than 2 months. Shocking details of what's being taught out of a class in Maharashtra. That explosive investigation is my top focus on the Newstrack.
The butchers of Udaipur's Kanhaiya Lal. Were inspired by this Pakistani group. Pakistan hides them in plain sight. Disguised as a social organization. Say they have zero links with assassins. But India today busts the truth.
वतन अजीज पाकिस्तान हमारे लिए बहुत बड़ी नेमत है। इसकी तामीर में हम सबको हिस्सा लेना चाहिए।
We infiltrate and sting them silently. The sinister group that inspired the beheaders. Pakistan's Dawat-E-Islami fully exposed.
Every day except Saturdays for 2 months, our undercover reporter attended these online classes. We'll get you Hezbollah's eye-opening investigation of what's being taught to young Indian Muslims who've signed up for these Dawat-E-Islami classes. Here are the headlines I'm tracking tonight. Amit Shah promises a reservation for the Pahadi community during his mission Kashmir. Declares that youth of the valley have laptops in their hands instead of stones after Article 370 was removed. He will visit the terror hotbed of Baramulla tomorrow. Fresh AAP versus LG showdown in the capital. Lieutenant Governor seeks report on the alleged power subsidy given by the Delhi government. Deputy Chief Minister Sisodia terms the action politically motivated. At least 10 mountaineers dead after an avalanche in Uttarakhand. More fear trapped. Indian Air Force carries out rescue operation. More trouble for the film Adi Purush. Madhya Pradesh Home Minister Narottam Mishra writes to the centre seeking removal of what he calls objectionable scenes. Prime Minister Modi speaks to Ukrainian President Zelensky, tells him India is ready to go to whatever distance possible for a peaceful resolution to the war. Remember Kanhaiya Lal, the Udaipur tailor who was beheaded for putting out a social media post in support of Nupur Sharma? Investigators linked his killers to the Pakistan-based radical outfit, the Dawat-E-Islami. Now, an explosive India Today special investigation has revealed that the Dawat-E-Islami has established its footprint extensively across India. And this organization is exploiting borderless technologies to push its radical Islamist agenda. Here is part 1 of this India Today special expose, Operation Pak Terror Dawat.
They filmed it and gloated over the killing as an act of retribution against the insult to the Prophet.
अभी तक की पूछताछ से सामने आया है कि ये लोग दावत-ए-इस्लामी नाम की संस्था से इनमें एक गोश मोहम्मद नाम के व्यक्ति का आना जाना था, संपर्क था.
The assassins of Udaipur tailor Kanhaiya Lal found to have links with the Karachi-based Dawat-E-Islami, a Sunni Barelvi proselytizing group that was founded in Pakistan 4 decades ago. Islamabad went on the record, its foreign office issuing a denial, defending the Dawat-E-Islami, rejecting India's charges of its connection with the Udaipur assassins. But when India Today's investigative reporter penetrated the Dawat-E-Islami in Karachi, Pakistan's claims fell crumbling apart. And that's what you're about to see. Watch now as India Today's special investigative team dismantles Pakistan's laughable lies and exposes the Dawat-E-Islami's radical agenda and its network in India. It began with our reporter applying for an online religious program offered by this organization. On the face of it, the Karachi-based Dawat-E-Islami doesn't list India in countries of its operations. But our probe establishes the Pakistani organization does have a well-oiled structure in India. With bank accounts, local mobile numbers, and men on the ground in at least two states, Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra. We now show you the unraveling of the Dawat-E-Islami's propaganda operation in India, piece by piece. This is how it came apart after our reporter registered for one of its religious courses on July the 22nd under the pseudonym Rashid Ahmed. No less of a shock when Dawat responded after a couple of hours on mail. Its message provided an India WhatsApp number to take the conversation forward. Here's that India contact of Pakistan's Dawat-E-Islami. And the same night, a man called our reporter from the same number. He identified himself as Haseen Ahmed from the Dawat-E-Islami's Madhya Pradesh branch.
फॉर्म अप्लाई किया हुआ था जी माशाअल्लाह। तो हमें आपका फॉर्म मिला हुआ है। यार भाई हमारे यहाँ मदनी खाजा और नाजरा कोर्स होता है, तो इससे पहले आपने कभी मदनी खाजा पढ़ा है?
करना जानता हूँ, इससे ज्यादा नहीं बहुत कुछ।
2 घंटे की स्काइप के जरिए से क्लास होती है और इसकी मंथली फीस 1200 रुपया होती है। ये आपकी जो हमारी जो ब्रांच है ये एमपी में मध्य प्रदेश। ये हमारे यहाँ सुबह 8 बजे से लेकर के रात में 12 बजे तक क्लास चलती रहती है।
अच्छा।
तो अब इसमें आप जो भी टाइम बताएंगे उस एतबार से हम चेक करेंगे कि हमारे पास टाइम वो वाला अवेलेबल है या नहीं।
From here start Dawat-E-Islami's online programs. The medium Skype, mode strictly audio, no video streaming permitted. Teachers located in Maharashtra's Barshi and Dahanu towns. A half-hour session every day except Saturdays. On Skype IDs, Teacher MTM 522 Faizan Online Academy. Teacher MTM 544 Faizan Online Academy. Shift in charge Barshi Town. Shift in charge FOA Dahanu Mumbai. Compelling evidence of how a suspect Pakistani organization has spread its digital footprint in India. But that's not all. Stay tuned as we show you how the Dawat-E-Islami, the organization that the beheaders of Kanhaiya Lal were inspired by, carries out its radicalization operations in India. With Mohammed Hizbullah, this is India Today's special investigation team.
India Today's special investigation correspondent Mohammed Hizbullah infiltrated the Pakistan-based Dawat-E-Islami, and under the garb of an online religious course, this group had a sinister radicalization plan with teachers in Maharashtra and audio-only classes on Skype. Our reporter was asked to confront so-called infidels in India. More shattering revelations coming up in part 2 of our exclusive investigation.
Content that sounds purely religious and innocuous at the beginning, as our special investigative reporter gets into the process of the Dawat-E-Islami program he has registered for online. But soon the Dawat-E-Islami's Skype handle, Teacher MTM 522 Faizan Online Academy, starts sending made in Pakistan material, videos audios and text files. The content that's produced in Pakistan glorifies that country, exhorts the Dawat-E-Islami audience in India to contribute towards building Pakistan as a citadel of Islam. But that's not all. The pre-recorded audio messages from Pakistan's Dawat-E-Islami call upon its audience in India to confront infidels, even if that involves using violent means.
बड़ा तफसीली मुफस्सल बयान फरमाया 6 साल के बच्चे की उम्र कितनी होती है अब आला हजरत इमाम अहले सुन्नत ने
Remember once again, it is this group, the Dawat-E-Islami, that the beheaders of Kanhaiya Lal in Udaipur say they were inspired by. Listen into these messages sent in on Skype by various Pakistani speakers.
वतन अजीज पाकिस्तान हमारे लिए बहुत बड़ी नेमत है। इसकी तामीर में हम सबको हिस्सा लेना चाहिए। ऐ काश हमारा मुल्क हकीकी मानों में इस्लाम का मजबूत कलआ बन जाए। बनफ़े खुदा की राह में मारे जाएं उन्हें मुर्दा न कहो, बल्कि वो जिंदा हैं, हाँ तुम्हें खबर नहीं। इसलिए जो राह खुदा में कत्ल कर दिए जाते हैं उन्हें मुर्दा कहना तो दूर, मुर्दा समझना भी नहीं है, क्योंकि वो जिंदा होते हैं, लेकिन लोगों को इसकी समझ नहीं आती। कुर्बानियों के जरिए और दीन की खातिर मर मिटने के जरिए इस्लाम जिंदा होता है। जब मुसलमान और उसका ईमान मजबूत होता है तो इस्लाम मजबूत होता है। इस्लाम की हयात इसी में है कि मुसलमान हर सूरत में कुर्बानी देने के लिए तैयार रहे। आज मुसलमान गफलत में पड़े हुए हैं, हर तरफ गुनाहों का दौर दौरा है और गैर मुस्लिम हम पर गालिब हो चुके हैं। कोई कुर्बानी देता भी है तो दुनिया के लिए देता है, आखिरत का तस्वुर कम होता जा रहा है।
A glaring expose of a suspect Pakistani organization exploiting digital technology and attempting a sinister propaganda onslaught on Indian Muslims. Hidden as they are behind the smokescreen of denials by the Pakistani state. With Mohammed Hizbullah, this is India Today's special investigation team.
How should the Indian security establishment be responding to this kind of threat of online indoctrination? Joining us on this broadcast, I want to welcome Shesh Paul Waid, former Director General of Police of Jammu and Kashmir. Lieutenant General Syed Ata Hasnain was the former General Officer commanding of the 15th Corps in Srinagar. Sushant Sareen is one of our leading strategic affairs experts. Jiten Jain is a well-known cyber security expert. Dr. Taslim Ahmad Rahmani joins us, President of the Muslim Political Council of India. But I want to go across first to Mohammed Hizbullah from the India Today SIT. He's the undercover reporter who infiltrated this Dawat-E-Islami online course, spent 2 months every single day except for Saturdays attending these classes. हिज़्बुल्लाह, सबसे पहले तो मुझे ये बताएं, जो तमाम लोग देख रहे हैं उन्होंने सोचा होगा कि शायद इस तरह की कोई चीज़ होती है, लेकिन कभी सुना नहीं होगा कि ऑडियो कॉल्स में क्या कहा जा रहा है, किस तरीके से मैसेज किए जा रहे हैं। आप हमारे दर्शकों को बताएं कि आपको इंडोक्ट्रिनेट करने की कोशिश इस पाकिस्तान बेस्ड आउटफिट ने किस तरीके से की?
नहीं, मुझे तो कोई इंडोक्ट्रिनेट नहीं कर सकता है, क्योंकि मुझे पता है कि इस्लाम क्या है और क्या नहीं, क्या सही है क्या गलत है। लेकिन जब मैं एक कोर्स के लिए जब उदयपुर की घटना हुई, जब कन्हैया लाल की किलिंग हुई, तो उसके बाद फिर हमने जब इस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का नाम आया तो फिर मैंने एक कोर्स के लिए अप्लाई किया यहाँ पे। जब कोर्स के लिए अप्लाई किया, मैंने पाकिस्तान में अप्लाई किया था, पाकिस्तान के उसका जो ऑफिशियल वेबसाइट है दावत-ए-इस्लामी का, वहाँ अप्लाई किया। उसके बाद वहाँ से मुझे जब अप्लाई करने के बाद मुझे एक ईमेल आईडी और एक फ़ोन नंबर दिया जाता है, जो कि पाकिस्तान का फ़ोन नंबर होता है, ईमेल आईडी उनका ऑफिशियल डोमेन का होता है। फिर मैं उस पर ईमेल करता हूँ और व्हाट्सअप करता हूँ उसके फ़ोन नंबर पे कि भाई मैंने अप्लाई कर दिया, अब आगे क्या करना है आप बताइए। फिर मुझे 2 घंटे बाद वहाँ से रिप्लाई आता है कि ये इंडिया का एक नंबर है, आप इससे रास्ता कायम करें। जब मैं उनसे रास्ता कायम करता हूँ तो उनका ही कॉल आ जाता रात को कि आपका फॉर्म मिला है मुझे, आप बताइए कि एडमिशन लेना है नहीं, मुझे लेना है। जब हमारी क्लासेस शुरू होती है, तो जब क्लासेस शुरू होती है तो आपको लगेगा नहीं कि ऐसा कुछ है इसमें, लेकिन हर फ्राइडे एक ऑडियो, एक वीडियो और कुछ टेक्स्ट जो बुक्स के रूप में जो आते हैं PDF फाइल, जब आप उसको देखेंगे तब आपको लगेगा। मैंने जब देखा तो मैं तो चौंक गया कि ये क्या है। आप कह रहे हो कि भाई पाकिस्तान की तारीफ़ कर रहे हैं, आप एक इंडियन मुस्लिम को कह रहे हैं कि पाकिस्तान के तामीर में आप हिस्सा लें। आप कह रहे हैं कि भाई इस्लाम के नाम पे मर मिटो। ये तो बिल्कुल भी इस्लाम में कहीं नहीं है ना ऐसा चीज़।
तो ये आप कह रहे हैं कि हफ्ते में एक दफ़ा इस तरह के इंडोक्ट्रिनेशन का मैसेज आपको आया करता था पाकिस्तान से?
हर फ्राइडे। बेसिकली पाकिस्तान से नहीं आता था, पाकिस्तान जो इंडिया में उनके जो दावत-ए-इस्लामी के जो इंडिया में जो लोग हैं, जो टीचर है, जो मुझे पढ़ाते थे।
तो बेसिकली आपने अप्लाई किया पाकिस्तान में, उन्होंने महाराष्ट्र में जो क्लास चल रही थी उससे आपका राफ्ता कराया, और आपके जो टीचर्स थे वो इंडिया के अंदर ही लोकेटेड थे?
जी, मेरे जो टीचर्स थे वो महाराष्ट्र के बारसी टाउन में जो सोलापुर में है, और दूसरे टीचर हमारे दहानू में थे। दहानू मुंबई के पास है, पास ही पड़ता है। तो ये जिस स्काइप आईडी से हमारी क्लासेस होती थी, डेली हाफ एन आवर की जो क्लासेस होती थी ऑडियो कॉल पे, बहुत बार मैंने कोशिश की कि उनका वीडियो ऑन कर ले, लेकिन मेरा तो वो वीडियो एक दो बार ऑन करा लिया, लेकिन उन्होंने अपना नहीं किया, जब उन्होंने स्ट्रिक्टली मना है। तो उस आईडी से
क्यों वीडियो मना क्यों था?
उनका कहना है कि स्ट्रिक्टली मना है। मैंने जब ये पूछा कि आप, जब मैं अपना वीडियो आपको दिखा रहा हूँ, आपको क्या दिक्कत हो रही है दिखाने में, तो उनका कहना है कि मुझे नहीं पता, बट मुझे बोला गया कि आप अपना वीडियो नहीं दिखाएंगे। तो उन्होंने अपना वीडियो कभी भी नहीं दिखाया। और जो स्काइप की आईडी थी, जिस स्काइप आईडी से हमारे क्लास होती थी, उसी स्काइप आईडी से हर फ्राइडे को लगभग 4 और 5 बजे के बीच में वो फिक्स था, वो कंटेंट आता था।
Stay with me, Mohammad Hizbullah. I want to go across to Sushant Sareen on this outfit based out of Karachi, Dawat-E-Islami. Turns out they have classes being run out of India, right under the noses of our security establishment. And very slyly, they are sending these videos, audios, files, trying to radicalize or indoctrinate young Indian Muslims.
Yeah, Rahul, at the very outset, compliments to your reporter for uncovering this. I really wish it wasn't your reporter, but an official agency of the government which had actually uncovered it. But I think these days journalists are doing a better job of getting this kind of information than the spooks are. But having said that, look, it doesn't surprise me at all. Dawat-E-Islami is still not, I would still not categorize it as a terrorist organization, but it has been a radical organization. It came up simply because there was a Barelvi pushback against the Deobandis who were very dominant in Pakistan. So it came up with that, and it has followed, and there are 3 or 4 branches of Dawat-E-Islami is the proselytizing wing, and then there were the militant wings like Sunni Ittihad, Sunni Tehreek and others, and of course the latest manifestation of which is Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan. Now, we know that the Dawat-E-Islami, because it's a proselytizing organization of the Tablighi Jamaat variety, albeit on the Barelvi side, it has a massive network. I think it's over 100 countries that their presence is out there. Now, and to imagine that these guys would not be using modern means of technology, I think would be to live in cuckoo land. They were, and they were very, very savvy with technology. They have been very, very active on using technology to reach out, to carry forward their propaganda, to carry forward their proselytization. To imagine that this would not happen in India, where there is a very, very large Barelvi population, I think again, is something which people would be under some delusion that this is not happening in India. Just as many of the other radical organizations are trying to reach out, because India is seen as a very fertile ground, similarly, the Pakistani organizations would be trying to reach out. The Dawat-E-Islami batting for Pakistan is also entirely understandable, because please remember, in the movement for Pakistan, the Barelvis were in the vanguard of the Pakistan movement. The Deobandis, especially the Jamaat Ulema Hind, which is in Deoband, was actually opposed to Pakistan. It was the Barelvis who were actually backing it. Now, it is one of the quirks of history that in India today we are seeing that, and it's a misnomer attached to many of these Barelvi fundamentalist organizations when we call them Sufi. We clearly don't know the meaning of Sufi in India.
Okay,
so
hold that thought for a moment. I want to go across to SP Vaid and get his sense on this investigation. The outfit is based out of Pakistan. These teachers are based out of 2 small towns in Maharashtra. They don't allow you to they don't turn their video on. They want to see who you are, so they get you to turn your video on. And they have these messages sent across. How should India's security establishment be responding?
Rahul, I personally feel this investigation should have been done by some intelligence agency or the police.
Sir, हमें भी करने दो थोड़ा सा काम. We can also do some good stories.
Yes, compliment your team and great work done. I think, see, on the face of it, it is a pure Islamic education and under the garb of a spiritual organization, Sufi organization. But look at the content, how it is targeting the Indian youth, particularly the Muslim youth, and it suits Pakistan's agenda. You know, if a country has a policy with no change in its policy of bleeding India by 1,000 cuts, there could be no better policy of radicalizing a big chunk of Muslim youth in a country where roughly 20 crore are Muslims living. And I think creating fissures between the two communities would be a big advantage for a country like Pakistan. I think nothing could be better than targeting the Islamic youth. And this is what exactly they are doing. And I think the security establishment needs to think very seriously with the Islamic scholars and sit with the Islamic leaders.
So let me ask General Hasnain this question. The threat that the young Indian Muslims could potentially be indoctrinated by these kind of classes, just those who sign up for such programs, how do you think the security establishment and the Muslim community itself should be responding to try and ward off this kind of threat, General Hasnain?
Rahul, firstly, compliments to your channel. But I may at the same time admit that I have been speaking about this for the last 10 years. And not too many people have been taking cognizance of that. You have got Jitan Jain sitting with you there, the man who knows the technical aspects expertly. He will tell you everything about it. You are aware of Shami Witness, the man who 8 months in Bangalore who ran the Islamic State's account in India. And we could not catch him at that particular time. Proxy settings for this kind of technology are all there. It can be done. But having said that, I leave it to Jitan Jain to answer that question. As to your specific question, this has not started yesterday or even the day before yesterday. It has gone back 45, 50 years. From 1977, the Zia doctrine, which no one talks about ever, that you cannot defeat India on the conventional battlefield. You have to get into India, into its youth, into its caste system, into its religious system, into its fault lines. And that's the only way Pakistan will keep us engaged in a war of 1,000 cuts. It started then. The technologies were not there at that time. Today, the technologies are enabling it completely. All the radical content is being produced and is being made as if it's coming from within India. And people are being identified. There are 200 million Muslims to be identified here. There are political conditions. India is in a bit of a juggle at the moment as far as its faith-based issues are concerned. Okay, that's our internal problem. We'll resolve it. But obviously, Pakistan finds the right opportunities for this. This is the manner in which a hybridity, the hybrid war which we talk about, this is the essential element of hybrid war. The aspect of ideology, how to keep radicalism, how to keep it going, how to ensure that India does not de-radicalize, does not counter-radicalize. The core center of this was Kashmir, where the entire experiment was tried out, and very successfully. As DGP Vaid will tell you how successfully this was done and how incompetent we were in the beginning to understand what was happening right under our nose. Because we didn't understand these aspects. We were looking at conventional battles. We were looking at Pakistan as a conventional adversary. It's not. It's a hybrid adversary, and it's getting into it deeper and deeper. It understands, it knows that peace in Kashmir or peace on the line of control is something different, but it can get deep into India to ensure that India's fault lines are always kept alive. And that is the intent of all this which is happening here.
Jitin Jain, from a technical perspective, I'm kind of trying to wrap my head around what could India's investigative agencies possibly do. This is a class on Skype. It could also potentially be, say, on a tool like Zoom. You've got participants who are willing, they've signed up for it. You're sending them literature. Unless somebody does what Hezbollah does, which is to penetrate and then expose, how are investigative agencies supposed to deal with a challenge of this nature, Jitin?
Rahul, you have to realize that Pakistan in last 8 years have invested heavily in technological capacities to carry out both for espionage operations as well as information warfare operations. Now, if you were to rate...
No, but what is their technology in this? They're using a Zoom call or a Skype call.
Yeah. No. I'll tell you what. So, if you were to rate best intelligence agencies across the world, probably one of the best agencies with a great track record of creating world-class terror goes to ISI. And likewise, if you were to raise the best information warfare agency today in the world, it will not be CIA or Russia or so-called Western agencies. It will be no doubt ISPR without a doubt. Now, they have got more than 4,500 professionals working round the clock with three major objectives. A, to create an image of India that this country is no more secular and there is religious persecution going on of Christians, Muslims and Sikhs, and as well as create a rift between the Hindu society's castes as well. Now then run a second world-class campaign for almost 3-4 years now, where they are saying a single hashtag Indian Muslim in danger has been trending on Twitter for almost last 3-4 years. Idea is to create an image of India in the Arabic and Muslim world, especially in the Middle East, that this country is a place where Muslims are persecuted every day. Now, the problem with Pakistan is that the way their economic situation is worsening, more and more people are getting jobless. They are turning into this troll army of 10 rupees per day tweet of ISPR, and they are putting fake news, hate content every day in India to an extent that today half of our polity, half of our opposition, half of our society actually believes in their fake news. Half of our society actually believes that nothing happened surgical strikes. Half of our politicians do not believe that something happened during the airstrikes. And our media has started questioning our own society. Take the example of the Harpreet Singh who was trolled after the, this thing. Or you take the example of Delhi riots where we believe that the whole hate content originated from India. I think Pakistan has figured out that they cannot compete, as General Atta Hassan was rightly saying. They have realized they cannot compete with India and the traditional
So what should investigative agencies do to try and stop this?
So you use technology to bleed India by 1,000 wounds every day. And third, you see, the effect of Zoom may look, nothing very important at the first onset. But you look, ISS was able to use Zoom and Skype for the terror recruitment across the globe in 80 countries. And in a country where the second largest home of Muslim populations in the world, and with, the literacy rate among the Muslim very less, it is very easy for Pakistan to, use religious extremists garbing as educationists or, portraying themselves as some sort of religious teachers and then radicalize people slowly. And what is the fundamental objective out of it? That ISI may send 200 terrorists, India might kill 100. But the job of ISPR is to radicalize and produce 800 new terrorists every year by radicalizing them online. And technology has reduced the cost of that. So
Taslim Rahmani, what are you making of this investigation by the India Today Special Investigation Team? The fact that you've got a Pakistan-based terror outfit that pretends to be a social charitable organization sending radical literature across in a bid to try and indoctrinate and radicalize young Indian Muslims.
Rahul, whatever you have presented today is appreciable, and nobody can deny that this is a fact. You see, this is a fact, what Rajnath Singh ji has told the Indian Parliament, that Indian Muslims are by and large are not a radicalized lot, and this is true. And it's Pakistan and alike are finding it very difficult to radicalize the Indian Muslims. And now this high-tech era, where the technology has become so advanced, Even if you delete the YouTube channels or the websites or the other things, even a simple WhatsApp message, if you share a WhatsApp message, you can spread it. You see, all those days when this Sartan se juda, I always said that this is not an Islamic but a Pakistani slogan. Those days I found many highly provocative Urdu articles on my WhatsApp groups. And I want all those groups that, no, please, these are the Pakistani propagandists, don't share them and delete them immediately. Secondly, it's around 4 or 5 years now, I found a book here in my vicinity. There was a meeting of around 100 people, and there were so many books which were available for the free distribution. And those books were about the ISIS. And there was no publisher's name, there was no name of a writer, etc. Just a book was there. I immediately called a very senior IB official at my residence, and I gave him this book, and I told him the address. At that place, these bulk of these books are stored and they are distributing it for free. I know that nothing had happened. So this is going on for a long time. Major Atta Hassan has very rightly said it's not yesterday. It is for many years it is going on. So this is
it is a fact. Dawat-E-Islami's presence in India is not new. A Pakistani spy entered India 18 years ago, joined the Dawat-E-Islami in Delhi. This terrorist had a free run for over a decade till he was captured by the Delhi police's special cell. Arvind Ojha reveals what he's told investigators after his arrest.
An ISI-trained terror accused, Mohammad Ashraf, alias Ali Ahmad Noori, aged around 40, arrested on October 11th, 2021 in East Delhi. His sustained questioning led to the Delhi police to a hidden cache of firearms, an AK-47, 2 pistols, loaded magazines, and live gunshots included. But here's the most stunning disclosure. The ISI spy terrorist had been residing in India since 2004, hopping between several states and involved in multiple attacks on civilians and security forces in different regions. So how was he able to evade capture for 17 long years? That's probably because he hid behind the smokescreen of the Indian version of Dawat-E-Islami for a large part. According to his own statement recorded in the police charge sheet, the Pakistani terror accused Mohammad Ashraf was ordered by his ISI handler to join the organization in Delhi as a member on its payroll, which he dutifully did. And that association helped him expand his network in India. An ISI terrorist infiltrated the Indian chapter of Dawat-E-Islami and held a paid-for position for 8 years. We reached out to a Muslim scholar who worked with Ashraf at Dawat-E-Islami in Delhi. The scholar was also questioned by the special cell earlier. He told us how Ashraf carried Indian IDs. At Dawat in Delhi, he maintained a low profile after joining the organization some 12 years ago on monthly wages of up to 18,000 rupees.
ये जो मोहम्मद अशरफ अली था पाकिस्तानी है, ये आपको कब पता चला?
ये तो इसको तो अली के नाम से जानते थे।
अच्छा।
हाँ, और इंडियन डॉक्यूमेंट्स भी थे इसके।
अच्छा।
उसी के बिहाफ पर इसको अली के नाम से जानते थे। फिर जब न्यूज़ आई उस टाइम पता चला कि ऐसा ऐसा इसका मामला है।
अच्छा, तब तो आप लोग जानते थे कि पाकिस्तानी है?
नहीं, जो स्टेटमेंट था मेरा वो तो वैसे दिल्ली पुलिस के पास भी है और वो सारी चीजें हैं, लेकिन ये इस टाइप का उग्रवादी है, आतंकवादी, ये सब तब पता चला कि न्यूज़ छपी थी जिस टाइम।
तो ये आपसे मिला कैसे? कैसे ये मिला कैसे?
दावत-ए-इस्लामी से अटैच था ये भी, मैं भी दावत-ए-इस्लामी से अटैच था, तो दावत-ए-इस्लामी के ही प्रोग्राम में दिल्ली में इससे मुलाकात हुई थी हमारी।
अच्छा, तो ये मतलब जुड़ा कैसे, कहाँ दिल्ली से जुड़ा या कैसे जुड़ा? दावत-ए-इस्लामी में कहाँ इसने ज्वाइन किया था?
तो वैसे दिल्ली जब मैं था उससे बहुत पहले ही अटैच हो चुका था दावत-ए-इस्लामी से।
अच्छा,
लेकिन ये कैसे जुड़ा एग्जैक्ट नॉलेज नहीं है। दावत-ए-इस्लामी के प्रोग्राम्स होते हैं उसमें लोग आते हैं, पब्लिक आती है, उसी तरह से अटैच हो जाते हैं। वैसे ये भी अटैच हो गया था।
तो उसके बाद मुलाकातें
9-10 में शायद।
अच्छा, तो उसके बाद फिर और भी जैसे दावत-ए-इस्लामी का जो आप लोग का ज़ियारत होता है तो उसमें और भी मुलाकात करता रहता था क्या?
हाँ, आना जाना रहता था इसका। और 2015 से 2018 के बीच में कई बार इससे मुलाकात हुई थी मेरी।
तो क्या बोलता था, मतलब मुलाकात में, मतलब क्या, किस तरह से?
कुछ नहीं, बस ऐसे ही दावत-ए-इस्लामी को लेकर के जो बातें होती थी वो होती थी, और कोई अलग से कभी भी ऐसी बात ही नहीं हुई कि विशेष पे डाउट जाए या कुछ नहीं। 2009 या 10 में, 2018 तक फिर ये रहा दावत-ए-इस्लामी में। उसके बाद फिर ये अपना तावीज़ वाला काम कुछ करने लगा था, बट उसकी ज्यादा नॉलेज नहीं, मेरा उससे कांटेक्ट ही नहीं रहा था। दिल्ली में ही मुलाकात हुई, दिल्ली के अलावा कोई इससे कोई मुलाकात याद नहीं हमें, और नहीं कोई ऐसा लगता है कोई पॉसिबिलिटी दिखती गई कहीं पे। और जो दावत-ए-इस्लामी की शुरुआत हुई वो भी कोई एक खास कंट्री लेवल पर नहीं थी। जब वो दावत-ए-इस्लामी की 1981 में जब शुरुआत हुई, जो मुझे पता है, तो उसमें एक इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस हुई थी कराची में, जिसमें इंडिया के भी आलिम थे। उसमें साथ एक बड़ा नाम जो था अल्लामा अरशदुल कादरी, वो लीड कर रहे।
कितनी सैलरी मिलती थी इसको?
सैलरी इसकी 15 से 18 के बीच में कुछ थी, लास्ट 18,000 तक इसकी सैलरी थी करीब।
और ये दिल्ली में दावत-ए-इस्लामी से जुड़ा था?
हाँ, लेकिन एक्चुअली जुड़ा तो था वो एज एन इंडियन। और जो भी चूंकि मतलब जुड़ने के लिए तो कोई मेंबरशिप नहीं होती दावत-ए-इस्लामी में, हजारों लोग, लाखों लोग हैं। लेकिन जब एम्प्लॉय किसी को किया जाता है तो बाकायदा उसकी पूरी जो है वो डिटेल्स ली जाती हैं, डॉक्यूमेंट्स लिए जाते हैं। तो जो डॉक्यूमेंट्स थे वो इंडियन थे, उसी के बिहाफ पर इसको ज्वाइन किया गया था, एम्प्लॉय किया गया था, सैलरी हुआ था।
A Pakistani terrorist under the radar for more than a decade and a half in India. An alarming case that blows the whistle on organizations within our own country becoming safe sanctuaries for such elements, knowingly or unknowingly. With Arvind Ojha, Bureau Report, India Today.
Multiple senior officials who are highly placed in India's investigative agencies are sending me messages asking for this report, saying that we'll take action. But SP Vaid, what action do you think ought to be taken on the back of this India Today expose against the indoctrinators, against the Dawat-E-Islami? How should those who are watching this investigation very carefully at this time actually act, so that it's not just token action? We did the big Hurriyat expose. Our viewers would recall after that they took very serious action against the Hurriyat. How do we ensure that similar action is taken against those who are responsible for trying to indoctrinate and radicalize young Indians?
Rahul, outrightly, the government of India should ban such organization in the country. You know, what is, first you must understand what is Dawat-E-Islami. This is an invitation to non-Muslims to join Islam by preaching Islam's the good things about Islam. Now, when you know that your neighboring country has a abode ambition or a aim of doing Ghazb-e-Hind, organization like this, and it has been going on for many years. Dawat-E-Islami is doing what you and everyone here doesn't want, that Ghazb-e-Hind is done in India and Pakistan. It is known fact to everyone. I think the government of India and all its agencies must come down very heavily and block all this. No such radical teaching should go on. You see what Dr. Jayashankar said, that we have used IT for a particular purpose, and international terrorism is being used by Pakistan. Their IT is international terrorism.
You know, is this enough evidence to ban the Dawat-E-Islami? I'm not sure. What I am certain about, though, Sushant Sareen, is use this investigation as the starting point for a government-led investigation into this organization and its India operation to try and see what more evidence can be done, which is what happened in the Hurriyat case. Our expose was a part of the investigation. The NIA ran a very long and detailed investigation, got things on record, and that's how they built a solid case against those Hurriyat leaders.
Rahul, yes, I think there's no substitute for that kind of action. But yeah, I think because this is a Pakistani organization, banning it in India should not be a problem. I'm not a lawyer, but I think it's relatively easier to ban a Pakistani organization like this. Number one. Number two, and I think it's very important to not ignore what Mr. Rahmani said. Actually, I was wanting to say the same thing. You know, I really want your investigators, because the intelligence agencies will only do it after you guys do it. I would really recommend to you, please send some of your reporters to Jama Masjid, to Jamia Millia, that area, to send them in some of the smaller towns of India, to Hyderabad, other places. Please ask them to go outside mosques and, these institutions and pick up the local, those pamphlets, those books which are being sold out there. Please do a study of that and see the kind of blood-curdling stuff which is being peddled out here, not in the cyberspace, but in the real space. Number one, can the government, can the various police agencies actually crack down on that, get to the bottom of that? Number three, on the cyber security area, Rahul, let's face it, it's like a whack-a-mole. Right? You ban something or you clamp down on something, something else will come up. So that's a never-ending game. But I think some kind of, and for this, I think I'm not the qualified guy, Jitin would be, maybe some kind of algorithms can be developed so that you can get better idea of who are the guys who are engaging and
no, but how does that, to suggest that from Sushant's perspective makes perfect sense. But how do you actually do it? Ultimately, it's just a Zoom or a Skype call unless you've been invited to that call. No IB, NIA, RAW will have any clue what's going on and where. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack.
Rahul, the Chinese have a very good firewall. Maybe something we should learn from the enemies.
Jitin?
Rahul, three things we can do. A, whether it is Zoom call, Skype call or whatever, ultimately some sort of literature, audio, visual videos have to be sent. And usually they are sent over some websites, they are giving link of some URLs. So when government says that they want to register news websites to differentiate between the reputed media portals like India Today, Mint or Print or whatever, and some fake news websites operating from Pakistan like Aaj Ki Khabar, Delhi Ka Taro Taja News and all those things, which are essentially spreading fake news and hate propaganda, I think it is very important for our media and society to now understand that we have to ensure that we start regulating online media, not control it or monitor it, but regulating it so that we are able to, our society is able to differentiate between the real reputed news channels and the fake news sites operating from Pakistan and elsewhere. Now, second most important thing, government also have to realize that social media is no more at the last pedestal of their importance and, the significance list. It has now got into a situation where social media is now able to dominate mainstream media, and it is a dangerous trend where India's young society is falling for this Pakistani propaganda, indulging into all sort of protests. And look at this, all those movements of K2K, Kashmir to Khalistan, SFJ, all these, frontal organizations of ISI and ISPR have found a new lifeline because of technology and ISPR's pumping propaganda. Three, I also have to make a point that right now we are dealing with ISPR in Pakistan. Wait for another 1 year or so, you will see a cohesion of, Chinese intelligence agencies and ISPR, because China has a problem of language and, cultural understanding of India. And they would soon be collaborating with ISPR to create further problems in the India's divide. And since we are a home of a multilingual, religious population, multilingual society, it is very easy to create, frictions and trouble here in our society than in any other country. So
okay. I think government General Hasnain, your sense of what should be done from a national security perspective to try and A, ensure that young Indians don't sign up for these classes, B, that those who are trying to indoctrinate our youth are immediately acted against in a meaningful fashion?
Rahul, I'll answer your last question. First, absolutely, that's the issue actually. Please, perhaps people around the country are not aware. You have a model of this kind, de-radicalization, counter-radicalization, running in Singapore very, very successfully around with Malaysia and Indonesia. If you are creating networks to try and educate or radicalize Indian Muslims, there are 75 Maulvis who have been harnessed, recruited there to act as what are called internet imams, to counter all that which is happening on the networks. If young people are finding themselves questioning all these issues, these are the people who actually reflect the correct interpretations of the Quran for them and tell them, don't get misled. This is the right thing for you to do. The areas which are selected are prison camps, labor camps, universities, schools, wherever there are younger people. These are networks. This is the practical side of it, which I'm just explaining to our audience. But having said that, let me say, if you think that in India people are not aware that this is happening, India's intelligence agencies have kept India safe from 2008 till 2022. We are fighting a huge proxy hybrid war. DGP Vaid is fully aware of it, the efforts he has made to counter the networks in Jammu and Kashmir. We have not penetrated everything so far. Things will escape our attention too. But let me tell you, our intelligence agencies are on the focus. And your investigations are helping them hugely. Hugely.
Okay, I've just heard from senior officials in the government. They're asking for these investigative reports to be sent to them. The Home Minister has just reached Srinagar. Dr. Rahmani, very quick final words from you on what needs to be done to try and clamp down on such radical indoctrination.
I suggest only two things. That number one, we must have a zero tolerance for any kind of radicalization, very impartially, non-partisan and just in genuine manner, using every kind of technology available at our hands. Number one. Number two, the community, particularly the Muslim community, is under the clutches of orthodox clergy and career politicians, which have no political brain but career as a politician. We have to counter them through our technology, and we have to evolve a new leadership amongst the community, and the government must come forward to evolve and encourage such kind of a new leadership. Only then we can be successful.
I just want to compliment our correspondent Mohammad Hizbullah for this superb expose. It's come in for rave reviews, not just from the panel that we had live. My inbox flooded with messages from top government officials asking for this tape, asking for this investigative report. They're promising action against the indoctrinators, and I'm not suggesting that this investigation is the final word. It's not. Let this be the starting point. Like the Hurriyat True tapes were, let this be the starting point of a deeper investigation. Let government officials mandated with the task of probing these networks look at what's being taught. Let them look at the investigative evidence that we've got. Let them do their own probe. And then let's go after those who are trying to radicalize young Indian Muslims. Remember, this is not about the community in general. This is just about those who signed up, and now attempts are being made to try and indoctrinate them. That's what we've tried to expose on the Newstrack tonight. We're slipping into a quick break. The Home Minister has just landed in Srinagar. He's promising a reservation for the Pahadi community on his mission Kashmir. Details coming up on the other side.
I noticed something new. You started using a new body lotion. Fun.
I'm so sorry for the delay. I was on another call. It just kept going on.
No, Papa. You have been a steam bath. Steam bath? At home? Two steam bath he takes.
Go to your homework.
It's 7:20 already. The kickoff's in 5 minutes. Get all the boys. We have the entire place to ourselves, man. Not working?
Of course it is. But I don't want you guys to be using this bathroom.
to use the other one.
Hey, I noticed something new. You started using a new body lotion.
Funny.
Armed with facts, she takes the news by its horns.
You think the future of these students are not hampered?
Fierce, bold, and direct, setting the tone for the biggest stories from every corner and every angle. Expect nothing but the unfiltered truth.
News first, niceties later. Watch me, Nabila Jamal, on India Today.
You're on board the Newstrack. Union Home Minister Amit Shah is on a 3-day visit to Jammu and Kashmir. In his Rajouri rally, Shah hailed the valley's growth since the abrogation of Article 370. Listen in to the Home Minister's big message.
आए दिन पथराव के समाचार अखबार में आप पढ़ते थे या नहीं पढ़ते थे? बोलो भाई, जोर से बोलो, सुना ही नहीं पड़ा? पढ़ते थे या नहीं पढ़ते थे? अब पथराव के समाचार आते हैं क्या? आते हैं क्या? मोदी जी ने युवाओं के हाथ से पत्थर लेकर लैपटॉप थमाने का काम किया है, नौकरी देने का काम किया। पहले कांग्रेस के समय में 2006 से 2023 में जो आतंकवादी घटनाएं हुई वो 4,766 थी। 370 जाने के बाद 2019 से 22 में 4,766 से घटकर सिर्फ 721 रह गई है मित्रों, 721।
This is where I wrap up the Newstrack tonight. We'll track the Home Minister's day out in Baramulla, hotbed of terror, which is where the Home Minister will be spending his Dashera. So here's also wishing all of you a very happy Dashera and look forward to seeing you at 8 p.m. tomorrow evening. Till then, from all of us here, goodbye, good night.